How's it? Cheatin' Lefty here, and I am going to be bringing you a disc golf review / comparison video. Today we are going to be testing out whether or not the newly released Lucid X EMac Truth can hold a candle to the verdict. So today I'll either be adding flames to the fire, or I'll be putting the fears to rest for many verdict users on whether or not the new Lucid X EMac Truth has the stability to compete with the verdict. Now, just a disclaimer, with all my videos, flight numbers do differ depending on arm speed. So if you are more in the slower to low moderate arm speed, then you're going to be more like me and you'll see very similar flight paths. Now, if you're in the more advanced to pro in terms of very fast arm speeds, you will see slightly different, sometimes maybe even drastically different flight characteristics. Again, just a disclaimer. Now, enough of me yapping. Let's throw some plastic. All right, so now out in the field, and we'll be starting off the Lucid X EMac. It's a calm day, only got a slight headwind at some points. This one, just tried to throw it flat, but a little bit on a hyzer line. And as you can see, it hung out left, came back right to the center of the screen. Next with the hybrid verdict, trying the exact same shot, hanging out a tad more to the left, about the same height, but yet it still fades almost right to the same spot as the EMac. Now for this next line of shots, I'm going to try to throw it the same height, but dead straight to see how much it'll fade out to the right. So again, starts it off dead straight, little up in the air, but it hyzers out perfectly and ends up on the far right side. Now going with the hybrid verdict, gonna try the exact same line, dead center with the fade. And just like with the Lucid X, it almost lands again, almost right on top of it. The Lucid X EMac Truth did go a hair further each time than the verdict. Now still in some calm wind, this time tried a lower line, very similar to the last line of shots, but just throwing it lower and just seeing how far forward before it faded out. For comparison, this is actually a new fusion verdict. And as you can see, it actually turns over just a little bit before coming back to dead center. So the Lucid X did hyzer out a little bit more and didn't get as much turn as a brand new fusion verdict. Then the hybrid, for comparison, almost holds the same line as the Lucid X, just dead straight with the hyzer out. Again, not quite as far as the Lucid X EMac. So now it did get a slight headwind, so got a little bit on this one. You can see it turned over just a little bit, but still try to come back to center. For a comparison with the slight headwind, also tried a regular Lucid EMac. This one flips a little bit more. You can see it tracking right to the goalposts before finishing out. And then again, this is then the brand new fusion verdict, just to show you how compared to the Lucid X EMac. And it almost has the exact same path as the Lucid X, didn't come back quite as much though. So kind of skipping to another day, was a little bit windier. This time we got a medium, about a 10 mile per hour wind. This is a right to left wind. So throwing it out with a little bit of hyzer, no trouble whatsoever. Now trying the same line with the same right to left wind with the hybrid verdict. Yanked it a little much, but as you can see, even though it does clip that tree, that does not change the flight whatsoever. It was just hyzering out. Now in a left to right medium wind, this is about a 10 mile per hour headwind. The Lucid X EMac, dead straight, little fade at the end. The regular Lucid EMac gets a little bit more turn, but I had a little bit more air under it, so it had enough to kind of hyzer back. And for the last, I believe the last shot, we have the hybrid verdict. This one, gripped it a little bit much and hung it out to the left, but just like the others, it hyzered back without an issue. All right, so now we have seen the footage of me throwing the EMac Truth compared to Verdicts. So I guess it's time to pass final judgment. So first, I'm going to start just with the feel of the disc itself. So feeling-wise, I mean, it feels like an EMac Truth. It is an EMac Truth. It should feel like one. It does. But to me, it feels very similar to the Prime. Not necessarily because of the plastic, but because it is absolutely flat-topped. It's kind of hard to see in the video. I'm trying to keep it as level as possible. Comparing it to a regular Lucid, which the regular Lucid has a slight dome to it, absolutely flat top on the Lucid X, which is absolutely wonderful. This actually has already replaced the Prime in my bag. So feel-wise, it's just like a Prime. So if you love throwing the Prime EMac Truths, absolutely you are just going to love the Lucid X. So now on to how it compares to Verdicts. As you saw in the videos, it compared fairly well. I was quite impressed actually. In calm weather, it had nice straight flight and then faded, just kind of nice fade once it ran out of steam. Even in slight winds, same thing, right out, crossed over. Just like with Verdicts, it went a little bit further than the Verdicts each time, but it had a very similar flight. Even against brand new Fusion, Biofusion, and just regular Lucids, it had a very similar flight. The hybrid is still a touch more overstable than the Lucid X EMac Truth. I will say the hybrid Verdicts, definitely a bit more stability to those. That's just one of the hyzer almost the moment it came out of my hand. Now, the question is wind. And in the wind, unfortunately, Minnesota decided not to have almost any wind whatsoever for about 2 to 3 weeks. And during that time with filming, I put this off as long as I can, and unfortunately I couldn't put this off any longer. I did not get any real great, big, strong, windy days, but I did get a couple days in there where it was about 10 mile per hour sustained crosswind headwinds, gusting up to about 15. And to be honest, the EMac Truth had no issues with that whatsoever. All the wind did was just kind of just made sure it's kept that straight line, and then it still hyzered out every time. Now, after all the filming was done, I did get at least one day where I did have about a 15 near 20 mile an hour sustained, gusting up to 20, 25. I had to throw, I almost didn't want to trust it flat, so I threw it on a very slight hyzer. It didn't even bat an eyelash. It just hyzered the whole way. It flew just like I would have hoped. So to answer the question that I put in earlier in the video stating, would this take Verdicts out of people's bags? Well, the nice thing is this is going to definitely open up options. Now, if you're in the Kansas winds, okay, who knows when you start getting those 30, 40 mile an hour winds, you're pretty much in Justice territory or Anvil territory now anyways. But for the more casual days, slight winds, medium winds, and whatnot, the Lucid X EMac Truth is definitely a good complement to the regular EMacs that are out there. It'll hold that great stability longer, and yes, it's fairly comparable to Verdicts. So if you are throwing a Verdict solely because the EMac just doesn't hold up as well in the wind, you will absolutely love this disc. But if you throw Verdicts because you love Verdicts and love how they feel and fly, this won't change anything for you. You'll still be throwing your Verdicts because it is very comparable to that. Now, I do hope that the Lucid X EMac Truth will come back at some point. I really hope it's going to be made more ready to the general public because it is such a fantastic disc. And in the 3 weeks I've been throwing it, I just absolutely love it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this video. Please comment, like, subscribe if you want to get any updates on releases. I try to come out every week, 2 weeks with a new video. Since this is going to be brand new, I'm going to try to come out with a lot of videos right away. So please feel free subscribe if you want to get updates on those. Again, I hope that part of this video, if any of it, is useful to you. It is geared more towards the AM players, but for any advanced open players, I hope there's still some tidbits that you may enjoy. For your comments, please, I want to know what you guys think about the Lucid X EMac, whether it just be general questions that I can definitely try to answer for you, or if you've had similar experiences, or if you think I'm full of hot air and you've had differing experiences with the disc. Now, I will always take requests on what discs to do a review on next. Now, I do mainly just stay in the Trilogy lineup. Obviously, I can't do all of them all at once, but please absolutely feel free, and I will definitely try to get to the ones that are requested the most first, but hopefully at some point I'll try to have a review on as many as I can. Thank you again for tuning in and watching, and as always, get out there, throw plastic.